Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Passion Talk. My name is Jeanette. Let us give God all the grace, thankfulness, and all the glory for this day and for this channel, and for it being a blessing to us all. Today, I'd like to talk about, on episode 7, about mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the practice of maintaining the awareness of your thoughts, emotions, or your experiences. How do you live your mindful life? So let's start with this. What is your current daily routine? So, do you think in what you do each and every day is promoting mindfulness? How do you simplify your day? Now, do you roll out of bed or not? Do you press that snooze button because it's early in the morning again? Or do you just take your time and a couple of minutes say, oh, yeah, it's snooze time. Oh, I better get up. Do you finally get up and then head to the shower and then come out of the shower and then have a cup of coffee or tea, run late, miss your breakfast because you got to get to work? It's a rush, 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 the whole process. How does that sound? Does it sound like you? Well, yes, no, or maybe, or definitely. Anyway, how about trying something else different into your routine, such as waking up to soothing music, music that, is very soothing to your spirit, or standing up tall out of bed and then doing a nice stretch. And when you do that, you begin to feel very revived. And how about meditation and prayer? Just to start your day with a sense of gratitude. And how about having a glass of water just to keep your body hydrated? That, go to bed at night, you leave at your nightstand there, and then when you wake up in the morning, you can just have that. It's great for your body, it's great for your mind. And then maybe even do a 30-minute workout. Doesn't have to be a strenuous one, just something that just wakes up every limbs of your body, get your whole cardiovascular system going, and just feeling great. And then you have a shower. And then after you do that, you sit at the table, you relax, you have some coffee and tea and breakfast, and just be present. And then from that, then you get out into your car, or if you work from home, you get out of the kitchen, you go into your room where you start your work. And here it goes. That's a relaxation moment, which is how you become mindful in the way how you do things, in the routines how you do things. So, do you see the difference now? There's less hassle. You tend to be a lot more alert. You sense a better, much better focusing, and as you day, and then you just savor each and every moment of that day. And when you do this, in that moment, here are a couple of things that you can consider. You have a better mindset. And when you have this better mindset, it channels your level of expectations. And as it channels that level of expectations, you have a good sense of how your day is going to do, and what things matter to you. You learn to start, number 2, you learn to start paying attention to the priorities of your day and how you add value to those priorities. And then number 3, you start embracing the challenges. And what I mean by that is sometimes you work with, or maybe have to intermingle with or deal with, personalities, that people's behaviors that you actually connect with, that choose to be difficult because maybe they just see things differently and they're experiencing a hard time at the moment. So, what you should do when you engage into this, you should try to be very respectful and just sit back and observe. And you'll see that shift in you because It'll help you to identify what they actually want and what they actually need, and actually what these people actually care about. And what they want you to do is they need to feel fully understood. And just recognizing this is such a blessing to your own self. And you're able to balance um, yourself in this continuous state of keeping yourself in peace. And number four, what about the difficult moments? Like applying and nurturing attitudes and behaviors and actions that you end up becoming aware of the reality of it, that what really matters to you. And then you keep moving forward and you do not let this negative attitude or behavior or choice steal your joy for the day. You just say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to be fearless in this situation and say, I'm not accepting this behavior or this attitude or this tone or the words or even how the conversation went. It didn't go right. And it's only temporary for this in this moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with it, and I'm going to say to myself, hey, I'm going to move on from it, and I'm just going to be the better person. You just need to just stand tall in situations like this and keep your confidence and clear your mind. And when you clear your mind like this, you learn to pick your battles and be slow to speak or even to respond to a situation that is interacting in this kind of behavior attitude. And you then be able to make a sound judgment. And when you make the sound judgment, what I mean by that is in the current situation, you'll respond more positively, not in a negative manner and put your guard up. You'll just be more responsive. And that's what trying to train your mindset to do. Another thing you can do is just be still. And what I mean by being still is just wait, be patient, and just be present. Visualize how your mind is going to respond in being positive and having a positive outlook in the situation. Another thing is, you remember, it's all about the experiences you go through. You remind yourself that, you know what, no matter what, there's so many different seasons of my life. I'm going to have the ups and downs, but guess what? I'm going to learn to start counting my blessings each and every day. And that's what's going to keep me focused. It's going to keep me moving on, which moves on to number four. Then I'm going to be more observant and I understand the challenges, but also the changes that's going to come with my own attitude, my decisions, my choices, that is going to help me to be more intentional throughout my day in how I manage my day. So, the main purpose here is to change your negative emotions to how your thought process are going and making sure that your day is moving to that encounter of being more mindful with how you do things and how you think about things, and it how you really interact with other people. When you do this, you have more freedom of the triggers that might end up setting you off, but you won't react those ways. You'll be able to break free from old habits. You'll end up, viewing your own storylines of what you tell yourself and how you see things differently when you run into situations like this. You can also apply also these three approaches that I have to remove these negative thoughts by number one, just identify it. And what I mean by identify it is what's your initial thought of your reaction? Identify that. Next thing to do is number two, alleviate it by making sure to pay much more attention to how you're thinking in the way how your body language is. Just take a breath. Just breathe in deeply and just settle yourself. And then when you do that, you're actually number three, checking in with yourself that it's okay. Name that very unfavorable thought that comes to you with maybe a particular word that you're naming it. And then from that, bring it to a positive question to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to have this confidence. I'm going to boost my confidence in that what is really working right now in my life, that I'm not going to let anything just steer me away from what my goals and my aspirations are moving forward. And that's a great way to go. Another thing is your connectedness. How are you and your ways of choosing to connect with other people? in your life really, really greatly impacts the way your relationships are. How I mean by that is the way you communicate, how you can communicate your needs. Do you ask very clearly about how you're communicating it? Maybe the way you're expressing it, or even identifying it with a way of your words of compassion, of how you speak to people in your tone. Or number two, how would you actually listen attentively? Are you really attentively listening to somebody when they're speaking to you? Are you being intentional and paying attention? Or do you have the awareness of understanding the body language when people, when you're just watching and observing, or even noticing that people's postures when they're speaking to you, their tone of voice, how high the pitch is, the sound of their pitch? Or are you even observing their words? Because words could either um, bring positive emotions or negative emotions. So when I say this, are their words are professional words that you and them have respect for each other? Or are these words that people are speaking to you when you're engaging in a connected experience, are they negative emotions that have curses? Like they're cursing, they use a sense of profanity, which there's no respect when that comes out. Or, when people start doing that, then they tend to have a bad behavior and just leaving the environment with a negative vibe. And we don't want that, actually. And nobody wants to be around people that have that kind of tone or behavior or attitude. So, because sometimes when they continuously are in this, it lasts a lifetime, because this is something they've always done, and that behavior has never been corrected. So what you need to do is try to um, you yourself be that bigger person and engage into connected relationships that's very positive, that presents um, you know a win-win between both of you. And number three would be actually to begin to engage in knowing that these people are truly interested in you, and that they're very present, and that they show such compassion and love. And they actually display curiosity. They ask you questions because they're really interested in getting to know more about you, who you are, and what you're about. And that's a great way with people. Number four, make sure you try to keep your commitments with people, because if you don't, you destroy that bond. And when this bond breaks down with no explanation, it's not a good thing, because it's showing that you're not being upfront, you're not being honest. You need to start learning to establish good boundaries that you create, so then people will know when you say yes or no. And they might not like your answer, but you know what? At least they'll respect it. Um, Also, think about for a moment who in your life right now, at this moment, that you can count maybe two or three people that actually build you up and they nourish your spirit. Who would that be? Now, if you know who they are, you know what? Treasure those people. Say thank you to those individuals, because they're such a blessing in your life and they mean a lot. And you could add that same value back to them as well. Number five, your words. Words are so powerful. Think before you speak and learn to be kind. When people are kind, they feel very loved, they feel safe, they feel very, how would I say this? They would feel very comforted. They feel not only comforted, they feel very supported. These people will feel really good inside, because they figure they're contributing to something that's important to you, or a cause. So your thoughts of your thoughtful words and actions actually represent these four things I'm going to bring to you right now, which is helpfulness, kindness, trust, and positive vibes. Sorry about that. Another thing is a great thing to do is smile. Smiling is a wonderful thing. Smile is a precious thing, and it's very positive. And do it more often. Smiling can be such a blessing to someone else. Another thing, try to create time that You have, sorry again, you have a digital free zone. And what I mean by digital free zone is you try to avoid technology and practice being more face to face with people. When you're face to face with people, it's more human contact. It's less miscommunication amongst people, and actually, it adds a portion of your daily routine. Using less technology is probably better. You would actually be really surprised in how much you'd get done with not really being on your phone, your computer, your laptop, watching TV. Sometimes that could be idle time, but there's times when we need to be on it, but just try it, even for like maybe 30 minutes, half an hour to 30 minutes, and see how your mind just relaxes, especially when you go to bed at night. That blue light is just not a good thing, and it will keep you up and it'll disturb your sleep pattern. So try that. Now I want to talk about a topic about forgiveness. It's a difficult area for some of us, and it's not just only releasing um, certain things that not a lot of people like to, but I'm going to name something here, and it's called an unforgiving spirit. It's a negative emotion that also removes that heavy thing of resentment and anger, and all of those are negative emotions. We don't need to get into them, but because you know them already. But one thing it does add is when you release it all, it gives you that level of freedom. And forgiveness, to give a little definition of it, it's the action of forgiving and releasing these emotions that are of resentment or of such an offense or even such vengeance. You probably will not forget that offense of somebody that does that action towards you, but you will know it's something that it's better to release that unforgiving spirit, because what it will do for you is an embrace a peace of mind and give you that added freedom. So here's a couple of points to assist you in moving forward from this type of situation. Name that negative emotion. And when you name that a negative emotion that's associated with the experience, it's a good thing to do for yourself. Then you can actually, number two is let go of that emotion. And then you can learn from the situation. And number three, talk about it, but in confidence. Don't gossip about it. Just talk in confidence with maybe a trusted confidant, and or maybe even a coach or somebody that you choose that you feel confident that they won't go around and say anything about the situation. Or another aspect you could do is, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can actually start a journal and you can write about it. And then once you write in the journal about the situation, you might even see a different point of view, and maybe you could have reacted differently and in that situation, or you could see where that other person's coming from, why they might be holding on to it. Number four, be empowered to take action and move forward by dismissing that unwanted hurt or pain that you've experienced. And then number five, remember, it's a process and it's going to take time to practice through it. And you could become better by balancing the unforgiveness, and you'll move forward. And then it's something that you'll just thrive through, and you'll just stop, you'll process, you'll review it, and then even question how you're so much more freer in the way you've balanced your mindset to getting to that optimal point of freedom. You will also meet people in your life, just so we can make a point of this, that will make a choice or decision to hold on to not forgiving you. So what do you do in that situation? Well, no matter what, you've already apologized, okay? And remember, it's an intentional thing for certain people to have that unforgiving spirit that they keep for decades, and they decide to keep it. And if they choose to do so, what I would suggest right now is just learn to forgive and just to let it go. They determine that this is what they want to do, and they want to live that way, they want to keep it. So just leave it with them, and then you just move on. So let's talk about in your workplace. How do you think you would choose to balance that with mindfulness in the workplace? What about your job? Well, How can you practice it in your job? Well, try these steps. I think would help you out in increasing your attitude, your behavior, your actions to reach your full potential in the work environment. Number one, simple steps. Apply gratitude. Saying please, thank you goes a long way. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate what you've done. It was so it was so kind of you to do such a thing. People love hearing that. Another thing is personally reach out to people. Talk to the person. Don't just email them or text them or send somebody else to give them a message. It's so personal when you come as that person that wanting to give them that praise and to let them know they've done a great job. Be the person to come and say it. I know where everybody's busy, but you know what? Just taking that time out shows that you really appreciate that employee, um, or the person in whatever organization you're working in or whatever job you're in. Number three, what about a written journal that you make notes of three things that you really appreciate that you've done in your day? And it doesn't have to be at work, it'd be anything, even where you're going to the coffee shop, it could be after work, it could be people, if you're a family with children, you can thank the babysitter, or you can thank the place where your kids go at the daycare. So many ways you can be so grateful, or even your parents that are with your children while you're at work. Another thing would be good is personal gratitude of even yourself and your own efforts, and how you add positiveness in the value that you make in making a difference. That's something that you should be really proud of, because sometimes we tend to be really hard on ourselves, and it really feels good when we do something very special, and especially to others. And then number five, always know that lessons learned in difficult situations is always an opportunity of growth. And how do you handle this in a particular challenge? Well, guess what? Don't be hard on yourself. And just remember to do your best, to be your best, act your best in all these moments. And always know that positive vibes always increase morale. It increases things around you. It increases so much, which is such appreciation to do. And mastering your mindfulness, um, from the time you wake up in the morning and from the time you start your day and turn in for, you know, to end your day and to end your night. When you practice this, you're actually working on your mind, body, and spirit. So just pay attention to how you do this and how it gives you a lot of peace and to have such a pleasant lifestyle routine. Another thing, it's very simple in all the moments of kindness, joy, and actually being so grateful to fulfilling your awareness each and every day. And it also nourishes your level of happiness, which is so important. And use these seven techniques to enhance a very simplified lifestyle. And each day, try these. Make sure that you eat breakfast, either solid foods, or sometimes I know a lot of people can't get up and eat, so they'll have a wonderful shake that has a lot of great nutrients. So start that for your day. Number two, keep hydrated. When you're hydrated, drink room temperature water or even bottled water. I'm not trying to make a recommendation, I'm just giving a suggestion. Um, Before you start drinking tea or coffee, a lot of the times you wake up dehydrated, and then if you go right away and drink tea or coffee, especially coffee, it dehydrates you a little more. So just try the reverse. Have a glass of water first, and especially at night, try to have that right beside your bedside. And I know a lot of people don't like to take fluids at night, but try to drink a lot of your fluids even 3 hours before you go to bed, so you're not up and down in the middle of the night trying to get and breaking your routine of your sleep patterns. Number three, practice gratitude. And this opens your mind to such positive emotions, positive energy, that later on in the day, that if you have to make big decisions, you're able to make it more with clarity. You won't be distracted, or if something that upset you, that won't come into your mind. You'll be a little bit more at ease, at peace to make great solid decisions. And number four, be consistent in how you exercise in your workouts because it leaves you feeling good, strong, you're full of energy, and you're just able to get up and just do things. And number five, sometimes some people need naps, and it's okay to nap because your body will let you know. And sometimes we don't even know the warning signs of that, but it will rejuvenate you, believe it or not. So try it. I know a lot of people don't like to because they say, well, I won't sleep later on at night, but guess what? You probably will. And maybe just at that point, your body just needs that 20 to 30 minutes just to get more rejuvenated so then you can get going again. And number six, create downtime. I'll say it again of technology devices because TVs, computers, cell phones, tablets, texting, being on social media 24/7, you would actually be amazed of what you can actually accomplish. Sometimes these things distract us. Sometimes it keeps us from that human interaction, and it's great to just kind of, I would say, fast from it, which means just to stay away from it for 30, 45 minutes a day and see what other things that maybe you need to get done or would enhance your life in a certain way. And the last thing I'll talk about here is meditation and prayer. Sometimes starting your day with this is such a great experience. And maybe some of you should try it if you don't haven't tried it, but it's a great thing to end your day as well. And especially creating it in your routine. You live in life of expectancy in achieving the best results in your life. And try it and see what happens. And in closing, I'm just going to say practicing mindfulness is actually living your life in the present. It's to look and observe of how you're thinking and how you're creating a certain pattern of discipline in your life so you can work out your daily routines and that they flow very fluent. And it's also a process that makes new habits and it intertwines with your current habits and routines. It also is a great protection of not being distracted and being in having things distract you in your life. And it's a place of comfort as well too. And the simple steps, I would say, is to grow in the goals of each and every day. Plan ahead. Don't rush. Just learn to just appreciate your experience in the moment. And I want to say a quick prayer. And I'd like to thank you, God, for this channel and for this topic of mindfulness. And to let each person, just create a routine that will increase blessings in their life, a lot of opportunities, give them such wisdom in how they live their lifestyle. And I also like to say amen to that. And I thank you for tuning in today. Please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, next week, February the 27th of 2022, look out for episode 8. And I will say bye for now. And thank you again for your support to you all. Bye for now.